This is Ezekiel 3:25. But thou, O son of man, behold, they shall put bands upon thee, and shall bind thee with them, and thou shalt not go out among them. And I will make thy tongue cleave to the roof of thy mouth, that thou shalt be dumb, and shalt not be to them a reprover, for they are a rebellious house. But when I speak with thee, I will open thy mouth, and thou shalt say unto them, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, he that heareth, let him hear, and he that forbeareth, let him forbear, for this is a rebellious house. I like to start off by saying, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Kol Haloyim La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that scattered abroad, the Akim and the Aquath that's listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing, that the lesson is edifying. It's the brother Shawab. I'm back at you with another lesson. And see the title. All right. Tony Burke calls out organizations that preach hate. Okay. And basically, this is going to fall back on us. All right. The prophets. All right. And I got a video that a brother from the beloved brother from Australia sent me. All right. And I'm going to play it real quick. Okay, I'm gonna play about maybe 4 minutes of it because it's a long video. All right, but 4 minutes is enough to hear, to see where they're going with it. All right, and then I'll grab some scriptures and close out because I ain't got too much time on my phone. My phone is actually dying. All right, matter of fact, I got a little bit. I got a charger here, but it's not the best charger. It's a piece of shit. But I'll use it real quick. All right. And basically, like I said, let me play this video. All right. And it says, we have had enough. Tony Burke calls out organizations who preach hate and racial bigotry. All right. And this is basically going back to what happened in 2025, at the end of 2025, with that Bondi Beach. All right. And you had the shooting. All right. And they try to tie it back to, you know, anti-Semitism. All right, which they did tie it back. But see, I guess this video I'm about to bring out came out, I think it was 18 hours ago or a day ago. All right, and it says hate speech and gun laws to be debated. Okay, so let's play it.
Huge concerns with everybody battling those fires. Following the atrocity of the evil anti-Semitic terrorist attack in Bondi.
And the funny thing is the fact that he even said atrocities when this devil, all right, Esau Edom's the #1 devil for atrocities, you see. But here it is, they're going to make it a big deal, all right, because at the end of the day, what they're trying to do is they're trying to tie us to this, all right, so they can shut our mouths, okay? Anybody that speaks, you know, anti-Semitism, you know, they're trying to, you know, put a stop on it, a halt on it. All right, which is funny because how can we be coming out with anti-Semitism when we're Semitic ourselves, you see? But of course, you know, we speak saying that we're the Hebrew Israelites is a problem. All right, but these devils could say whatever the hell they want. All right, and nobody even pays attention to what they're saying. Nobody cares, you see? But let's finish.
To deal with the motivation and the method. This legislation will deal with both. The motivation was fueled with hate, that form of racism known as anti-Semitism. There have been organisations which have played a game for a long time in keeping themselves just below the legal threshold. They were called out last year by Mike Burgess, the Director General of ASIO, for the real harm that they do to our national security. The two groups that he called out specifically were the Nazis, the National Socialist Network, and Hizbut Tahrir. Two groups which, through their spreading of hate, have a direct impact on increased risk in our national security environment, but have kept themselves just below the law for while they have created a pathway for others to engage in violence, have been careful to not explicitly call for it themselves. They've kept themselves just below that threshold. This bill will lower that threshold. and lower that threshold to the extent that we can within the Constitution. We have had enough of organisations that hate Australia playing games with Australian law. We will also increase powers that I would have as Immigration Minister in terms of the cancelling of visas. In terms of racist bigotry at the moment, I also have to test each time whether someone's coming on a public speaking.
So even though this is being spoken about in Australia, you have to understand that all these nations, all right, they're all coming together as one, all right, as they're coming together as in this new world order, as, you know, a one world religion, a one world government, all right. So eventually this is going to come to America. You see, the same thing that he's speaking here is the same thing they're going to try here in America, and they're going to try worldwide, man, because we are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Okay. So by us being scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, this gospel is being preached to the four corners of the earth, and then the end shall come. All right. So I'm sure we got, you know, brothers out there in Australia that's bringing out the word through the spirit. Okay. And, you know, who are the only ones that they claim are the ones that are preaching hate? All right. Is our people, man. Okay. We the ones that are preaching. All right. That Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai hates Esau. Okay. And if the Lord hates Esau, then, you know, of course, we're going to be against Esau also, you see. And, you know, when you go into, you know, books like Esau, who is Esau Edom, you know, it speaks about, you know, the Anti-Defamation League, all right, that tries to find ways, you know, that are pretty much funded by these, you know, these little hats, all right, to basically shut us up, to bring these laws of, you know, claiming that they're that we're bringing out hate, all right, through the word of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man. And that just goes to show that we have the truth. All right, because people tell the truth and it hurts. So it hurts these devils. All right, every time that we bring out the word of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, is a dreadful sound to their ears. All right, to the fact that, to the point that they have to bring out these damn laws. All right, to shut us up. All right, and that's why famine of the word is right around the corner. Okay, which I'll grab that in a second, but let this play.
Speaking to her, or the extent to which someone might cause social discord. This draws a line in the sand and says racial bigotry of itself is a reason to be able to refuse a visa. Finally, with respect to guns, the legislation will allow us to use the Auscheck system. The Auscheck system to effectively create a pathway where states and territories can have a two-hurdle process before someone is issued with a gun license. The final hurdle.
And why they're bringing out all these gun laws also is because they're trying to take away the guns. All right, so when the time comes, a martial law being set, all right, and these, you know, these madmen sparing none, you know, start kicking doors down. All right, no one has protection to protect themselves against them. You see, so that's why now they're also bringing out these gun laws. All right, which they've always been trying to bring gun laws out. All right, but you know, they go hand in hand at the end of the day. The famine of the word, all right, and these gun laws, all right, because once the word is taken off the streets, all right, it's easier for them to make moves, all right, because no one's going to be knowing what's going on. Why are these things happening? You see, because we're not going to be a reprover, as we just read. We're not going to be a reprover, all right, onto these people no more, man. This is why you have to seek the Lord while he may be found, because once the Lord is gone, all right, that means that he closes the doors of mercy. Okay.
Tests that the states already have, but to be able to put in place in advance of that an Auscheck system, which will allow the intelligence that is held by ASIO and by the Australian Criminal Intelligence Commission to be able to use to create the extra layer of caution if somebody is themselves a risk when they're applying, or if the risk resides in a member of their family or a member of their household. With all of this, we deal with the motivation and the method. We deal with the why and the how.
Sure. So the alternatives that the bill support would be necessary. How to changes on hate speech law?
Well, we're open to constructive suggestions. This is draft legislation. We've spent a lot of time getting it right. There has been a lot of consultation already, not just with the Jewish community, but with other communities as well. We want to get it right, but if someone has a constructive suggestion, then it will be considered on its merits.
Paul, you said you want to deal with method and motivation, Prime Minister, but there's been more political debate around the gun reform than the other section on hate speech. Why not split both sections up, and is that an attempt to wedge the coalition?
No, this isn't about politics. It's about getting it right. And those people...
I'll end it right there. All right. And it's not about politics. This is about the men of the Lord, man. It's about the word that's being preached out throughout the four corners of the earth. You see? So, you know, persecution is coming. You know, famine of the word is coming. All right. Let's grab Amos 8 and 11. All right. And it says, behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord Yahweh. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord Yahweh, and shall not find it. In that day shall the fair virgins and young men faint for thirst. All right. So you're gonna have the foolish virgins, all right, are gonna be out there, you know, trying to trim their lamps and ask for, you know, more answers, you know, but you know, those that are the wise virgins, all right, are gonna tell them what, man, go get your answer from somewhere else, where it's from somewhere else. Why? Because the answers were here when the Lord had his prophets set up, all right, to give you the word, to give you the, you know, the key ingredients to salvation, man. But you didn't take heed to it, man. All right. And the young men, you know, they're gonna faint for thirst because they're a rebellious house, man. They're wise to do evil, but to do good, they have no knowledge, man. So you know, basically put knowledge to the side. You gave us the cold shoulder. So the Lord is gonna give you that same cold shoulder that you gave us. All right, which at the end of the day, you wasn't hurting our feelings, man. You were hurting the Lord's feelings. You see? So because you didn't take heed to it, all right, you were ashamed of this word. You were ashamed of Yahweh Shai. He's going to be ashamed of you. You see? So it says, and they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east, they shall run to and fro to seek the word. Yeah, these people are going to go back and forth trying to look for us. You know, when all hell breaks loose, when, you know, which we're already in those beginning stages of it, you know, these people going to start looking back and trying to remember where they done saw prophets. You see? Shalom Malak, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua Barakatah. You know, they're going to be, you know, wondering where those prophets were, man. Where were them goofy ass niggas at, right? that you thought we was nobodies, you see, that made no account of our labors, you see. And then you're gonna be searching for answers. It's gonna be a crying for wine in the streets, as the scriptures say. All right, but there's gonna be no answers for you, man, because you were supposed to take heed to the word of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua early, you see. And that's the point, man. You're supposed to seek the Lord while he may be found. You know, you're supposed to you know, put not off from day to day. Okay. Make no tarrying to turn to the Lord, because sudden destruction is gonna come upon the people, man. Okay. So let's grab this. This is real quick, because you know the way they're coming at it is, you know, they want to make moves on anybody that, you know, pretty much speaks on these little hatters, man. All right, and they're calling it hate speech. So that means that is going to be the great persecution. Okay, this is Matthew 5 and 10, and it says, blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. All right. And we know that this devil is the accuser of his brethren, man. So he gonna try to find ways to, you know, speak against us. Okay. Say all manner of evil against us falsely, you know, trying to blame us by this and blame us by that, you know, use AI and try to make us look like we're saying all this bugged out shit. all right, taking bits and pieces of our videos and trying to put them together. And probably he gonna take the worst parts of our videos that sounded like we was saying some grimy shit, well, all we was doing is preaching the word of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, and he gonna try to use it against us, man. All right, for Yahweh Shai's sake. It says, rejoice and be exceeding glad. Okay, exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven, for so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. Okay, yeah, they've always persecuted the prophets. All right, and the servant is no greater than his master, man. So if they persecuted Yahweh Shai, they're gonna persecute us. You see, if they kept Yahweh Shai saying, they're gonna keep ours, man. And that just comes with this territory. That just comes with this word, man. And you have to be prepared for that, you see. And we're not worried about it. We're not scared, not one bit of what these devils have in store, because Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is going to be with us at the end of the day, man. All right. This is Luke, all right, and 11, and it says, and when they bring you onto synagogues and onto magistrates and powers, take ye no thought how and what thing ye shall answer or what ye shall say, for the Holy Ghost shall teach you in that same hour what ye ought to say. All right, so we're going to be put into the hands of these devils, man. All right, because that's what they're trying to do. This is why they're coming out with all these different laws, you know, on hate speech. You know, this is why they're trying to ban this off the web. All right, because, you know, they want to put hands on us. Okay, let's grab Luke 21 and 12, and it says, but before all these things, right, before all these, they shall lay their hands on you and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and into prisons, being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake. And it shall turn to you for a testimony. Settle it therefore in your hearts not to meditate before what ye shall answer, for I will give you a mouth and wisdom, which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist. Okay, so the Lord gonna put words in our mouth, man, to speak to these people in them last days, man. And it's gonna be something juicy, you know. It's gonna be in the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, manfully, you know, ready to die if need be so. You know, ready to stand up stiffly for the name of the Lord. Okay, and they're gonna try to persecute us off of based on what we're saying. And it's all good, because you know, as the scriptures say, man, we have to be faithful unto death. Okay, because that's an automatic crown. You see, it says, and ye shall be betrayed both by parents and brethren and kinfolks and friends, and some of you shall they cause to be put to death. You know, so we're gonna have our own friends, our own, you know, family members, man. As the scriptures say, man, your own foes shall be those of your household, man. Okay, your own friends, people you grew up with, you know, 20 years, knew them all your life, you know, thinking that they wouldn't snitch on you. They're gonna snitch on you. You know, I remember about 3 years back, you know, they were already, you know, trying it out and telling people that if they heard anything about Hebrew Israelites preaching the word, to report them. You know how many niggas is gonna sell out and report you for a couple of dollars, you know, because they're gonna be mad as hell that we're preaching the word of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Anyway, we're preaching these devils destruction, you know, and we preaching you 2/3 destruction. And when these things come to pass, man, they're gonna hate us, man, even more. You know, they're gonna be saying, curse you, you making all this happen. And that's right. Call Elohim La Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man. This is why we told you to take heed to the word while it was given to you, but you thought it was a joke. You know, you thought that the Lord wasn't gonna come back. All right, because you had that 2/3 proverb in your mindset, all right, saying that every vision faileth. Okay, the effect in every vision is gonna fail. Okay, but the Lord, all right, is tired of that, man. All right, as a matter of fact, let's grab that real quick. This is Ezekiel, all right, Ezekiel 12. Ezekiel 12 and where's that? 22. It says, son of man, what is that proverb that ye have in the land of Israel, saying the days are prolonged and every vision faileth? Tell them, therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, I will make this proverb to cease, and they shall no more use it as a proverb in Israel. But say unto them, the days are at hand, and the effect of every vision. You see? So the time is coming for every prophecy to be fulfilled, man. And all prophecies being fulfilled right in front of your faces, man. You see? There's no way for you to run from prophecy. you could, you know, hey, as the scriptures say, what if some did not believe? Okay. Just because you don't believe, all right, is it going to change the effect, all right, of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai? No. Okay. The Lord's still going to bring judgment. All right. This is Romans 3:3. For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of Yahweh without effect? Yahweh forbid, meaning of course not. Yeah, let Yahweh be true and every man a liar, as it is written that thou mightest be justified in thy sayings and mightest overcome when thou art judged. You see? So the Lord not going to change up for you, man. Every idle word that a man shall speak shall be held accountable for it in the day of judgment, man. So, you know, that vision that you think, all right, is not coming. The Lord is telling you it's here. Okay. Let's go back to 12 and 24 in Ezekiel. For there shall be no more any vain vision, nor flattering divination within the house of Israel. See, we're speaking that vision onto you, man. But once that vision is gone, all right, where there is no vision, the people perish. You see? And that's going to be game time for the Lord, right? It says, for I am the Lord Yahweh, I will speak, and the word that I shall speak shall come to pass. It shall be no more prolonged, for in your days, O rebellious house, will I say the word and will perform it, saith the Lord Yahweh. All right, so if the Lord said there's going to be a famine of the word and destruction is going to come right after that, that's exactly what's going to come. You see? And you can't get around it, right? It says again, the word of the Lord Yahweh came to me, saying, son of man, behold, they of the house of Israel say the vision that he seeth is for many days to come, and he prophesieth of times that are far off. And that's the spirit of our people, man. You know, they'll be like, oh man, what you talking about is not going to come to pass in our time. It's not going to happen at all. All right. But see, that's what pisses off the Lord more and pushes him to make it come even quicker, you know. Especially that for the elect's sake, he's speeding up the times, man. You know, the elect is crying out to the Lord continually. All right. And our prayers pierce the clouds, man, as the scriptures say. Okay. So, you know, our matter of fact, let me grab that. All right. Pierce the clouds. Matter of fact, it might be in the Apocrypha, that's why. Our prayer pierced the clouds, KJV. This is it's Ecclesiasticus 35 and 17. It says the prayer of the humble pierceth the clouds. Okay. Until it come nigh, he will not be comforted, and he will not depart till the Most High Yahweh shall behold to judge righteously and execute judgment. You see? So again, man, the prayer of the humble, all right, the prayers that we're constantly throwing out, all right, are piercing the clouds, man. So the Lord is hearing us. All right. It's just that the Lord has a time frame of when he's coming, man. The Lord likes to make us suffer a little bit. All right, because patience is suffering. All right. We are supposed to be suffering on this side to receive, all right, the kingdom. Through much tribulation shall you enter into the kingdom, man. So it requires you to suffer at the end of the day. Okay. So let's finish that up. And it says 28, therefore say unto them, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, there shall be none of my words be prolonged anymore, but the word which I have spoken shall be done, saith the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. So the Lord said famine is coming, all right, and that's coming. You see, persecution is coming. That's what he said. That's what's going to come. You see, when the Lord said great death is going to come for you 2/3 and you're going to be cut off and die in the land, that's what's coming. You see, And that's why we have no choice but to come out here and present our bodies as a living sacrifice, man, and give you the word, give you the good gospel, the good tidings, all right, to turn back to the Lord. But if you don't turn back to the Lord and hearken on to it, well, then we're here to also preach your destruction. You see, we're here to tell you how these devils is about to come in like a flood, how they're going to try to persecute us, all right, but that we're ready to die in the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, man. We're ready to take whatever comes our way because the Lord is what's making it happen. The Lord is with us through all that, all right? It's just test of our faith. It's just a test of our faiths, you see, to be able to, so the Lord can test us to see if we're worthy to be gold. You see, we're worthy to be, given salvation. Okay. And this is why we stand up stiffly for the name of the Lord, man. All right. Because the scriptures say, woe unto me if I preach not the gospel. You see, cursed be the man that holdeth the sword back from blood. Okay. So you have to preach the word, man. Because we're rolling out the red carpet for Yahweh Shai, man. But they'll call it preaching hate. Okay. You can call it what you want to call it. The Lord's still gonna come and destroy every single one of you Edomites and the rest of you nations, man. He's still gonna destroy Babylon the Great. Okay. This is Revelations 10, 2 and 10. And it says, fear none of those things, right? Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. You see? So yeah, the devil gonna throw some of us into prison, man. Okay, and we're gonna be tried as gold in the fire. Okay, these are things that we're gonna have to go through, man. Okay, it's part of that persecution. This is why they bringing out laws, man. Okay, to be able to throw us into prisons. Because here it is, we're not doing nothing but preaching the word of the Lord. But it's a crime to preach the word of the Lord in these countries now. And it's happening worldwide first, all right, and then eventually it's just gonna be done in America. Okay, and why? Because this word is a two-edged sword. It cuts you down to the bone marrow, as the scriptures say. Okay. And it's the intent, it is able to discern, it's a discerner in the intents of the heart, all right, of the mind, meaning. So, we're able to discern things through the spirit, all right, we're able to judge things through the spirit, and then we're able to tell you what this devil's going to do ahead of time before he does it, and he hates that. That's why he comes with more laws and more, draconian laws and, more grievous laws, trying to piss you off. All right. But again, you're still not going to stop the judgment of the Lord. Right. So, that's pretty much something I just wanted to touch up on. All right. Like I said, the brother out there, which he actually is on. All right. The brother, sent me that article, and I figured I'd touch on it, So that's what this devil's coming with, man. And all that's going to tie back to America, and all that's going to tie back to the prophets. Okay. Because to the world, we're the only ones speaking hate. You see? So, be prepared for more laws and more, bullshit to come with it. All right. And stay on point, stay alert, stay circumspect, redeeming the times because the days is evil, walk as be wise as serpents and harmless as doves, that the ministry be not blamed. Okay. So, don't give these devils any type of fuel to add to their fire, man, to make us look bad. Just keep doing what we doing, preaching the word of the Lord and remembering that we're here to please Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, nobody else. We ain't here to please these devils, man. We ain't here to, fear the incredulity of them that trouble us. All right. At the end of the day, all unfaithful gonna die in their unfaithfulness, man. All right. Especially you 2/3 of our people. Okay. And then the rest of the world, we don't expect you to believe this word ain't for you anyway. So we don't expect you to believe one bit. All right. But we're still gonna preach your destruction. Okay? Because the Lord says so. And you know it. And you know it's coming. That's why you're going to come down on us with great wrath, because you have nothing but a short time. You see? So I'll leave it at that. Through the Spirit, Lord willing, you were edified. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Call Elohim La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that scattered abroad, the Akim and the Aquat that was listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing, that the lesson was edifying. To the next one, Shalom. Keep fighting the good fight of faith, enduring as good soldiers of Yahushua. You sisters continue to learn the silence, watching the true men of the Lord, and keep throwing them prayers up that this place go real soon. A Bible ball soon. The water Yahweh Bashem Yahushua for the rest of the palm for the lesson. Shalom.